All right, so we are doing 13.4 and 13.5, adding and subtracting polynomials. Now notice I put day 1 here. I'm taking this information and it kind of flows all together, but I'm going to take the information and spread it out over 2 days. So today all you're going to do is get used to the idea, what is a polynomial, what does it mean, what do terms mean, and so on, okay? So one of the things you have to remember is that a term is a number, a variable, or the product of numbers and variables. So some examples of terms would be like the 2, or 2x, or the x, or the 2x squared. Now, and maybe I should have had this right here moved up, but you need to remember that terms are separated by plus or minus signs. And I would probably circle that, highlight it, underline it, because that's going to be important that you know that terms are separated by plus or minus signs, okay? Okay, so the polynomial, and I think people get scared by that word. They're like, polynomial, that sounds like it's a really hard math term. It is not difficult, it's just a new word. A polynomial is one term or the sum or difference of 2 or more terms. And then I also have in parentheses that there should be no variable in the denominator. You guys really don't need to know that, but it's part of the definition, so I felt I couldn't leave it out, but you'll need to know it later, okay? But for the sake of our homework and what we're doing here in 8th grade, it's not important to you yet. Okay, now there's 3 different types of polynomials. So the first one is called a monomial, and a monomial has 1 term. So I give you an example of that. A binomial has 2 terms, and notice here's one of the terms, and then remember terms are separated by plus or minus signs. So here's a term, and here's a term. And then a trinomial has 3 terms. So 1, 2, 3 terms. Is that making sense so far? So nothing real difficult at this point, correct? Okay, now, hopefully also the words kind of, you're like, oh, well, that makes sense because mono means 1, and bi means 2, and tri means 3. Okay, so hopefully that will help you when you have to write those down for yourself in your homework tonight. Now, they're going to ask you the degree of a term. Well, actually, they're going to ask you the degree of a polynomial. But before they do that, let's talk about what that means. Degree of a term is the exponent of the variable. So, for example, this 3x to the 3rd, this term has degree 3. This negative 4x, what is the degree for that one? So what's the exponent for that one? Not 0, 1. Okay, so remember they don't ever put that 1 there, but it's implied because what's anything to the first power? Itself. So they're not going to put that, but you need to know it's there. So the degree is 1 for that term. This 6x squared, what is the degree for 6x squared?
2.
A 2. And this one's tricky. It's called the constant term, but it doesn't have a variable with it, does it? No. However, so I'm going to tell you right now, the degree is 0. And so you're like, where'd she get 0 from? Let me show you. What if I did have a variable with it? What if there was an x with it? How would I make that x go to 1? What power would I take it to make it go to 1?
0.
0, okay? So isn't x to the 0 power 1? So would this actually be this? And wouldn't that actually be this? And isn't that what is already there? That's where they get that 0 from. I'm just proving it to you so it makes sense, okay? You just need to remember that a constant term has a degree 0, okay? Everybody still with me? All right, so what they're going to ask you for in your homework is the degree of the polynomial. So the degree of the term with the highest degree, that's the degree of your polynomial. So if I look at this one, here's a polynomial. I have 2x squared plus 5x cubed minus 4 plus 3x. I look through and I say, what's my highest exponent? It is
3.
That is the degree of my polynomial. Okay? So I know you're going, seriously? This is all we have to do? This is it so far. Okay, so you can do it, right? Not a problem so far. Okay, then the next thing you need to do is you're going to put your polynomials in standard form. Standard form of a polynomial the terms decrease in degree from left to right, and no term has the same degree. So what does that really mean? It means that I need to look at my exponents and they need to descend. So if I need 4, 3, 2, 1, according to my exponents, okay, 0. Okay, so what that means is I look through and I find my term with the highest exponent, which is what?
3.
Okay, so 5x to the third is the term with the highest exponent. That comes first. Then I go through and I find the next highest exponent, which is 2x squared.